Question 17. The table shows the number of games won and the number of goals scored by 12 teams in one season in a football league. So just looking at the table until I fully understand it, I've got 6 games won, 31 goals scored in total. So that's one team's data. Another team's data, they played 7 games and scored, sorry, they won 7 games and scored 36 goals and so on. So on this scatter graph, each of these points refers to the data of one of those teams. So the first 8 teams, the information for the first 8 teams is plotted on the scatter graph. So there's 8 crosses on there. Part A, which is just off the bottom of my screen, says complete the scatter graph. So I need to plot each of these 4 points up here. So I need to make sure that I'm clear on which axis is which. So games 1 is along the bottom. So this first point I'm going to go along to 15 and I'm going to go up to 58. Before I do that, I need to make sure I'm clear on the scale. So between 50 and 60 there are only 5 squares. So each of those squares must represent 2. So 58 will be that square there. So I need to go along go up from 15, and I should use a pencil really, but just so it's visible on the video I'm going to draw a little line up there. So from 15 and from 58, you don't get a great deal of tolerance on these, so it's useful to use a ruler and pencil to line those up properly. Right, next one is 17 and 55. So again, I'm going to check the scale down here. So there's 15 and 20 there. So there's 10 squares that represent only 5 more games won. So each 2 squares on this axis must represent 1 game. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 between 15 and 20. So 17 will be here, and that's matched with 55 goals scored. So that's halfway between 50 and 60. So it's actually half a square there. So I'm going to draw a faint line up from 17 and a faint line across from that half square there and put my cross in. Next one is 25 and 75. So 25 there, 75 is halfway between 70 and 80. So a faint line up here, and a faint line there across half the square, put a cross in, and finally 26, and remember we said that 2 squares represented 1 goal, game 1, so I'll do a faint line up from 26, and 82 will be here, put a cross in there. Okay, so now I've got to draw a line of best fit. So the guidance for drawing a line of best fit is that we need to try and get the same number of points above and below our line. So we take a ruler, flip it up so it's vertical to the page, and then put our eye over the top of it and try and make it, making sure our ruler is straight of course, that half the points are above the line and half are below. So a lot of people think you have to go through the origin or 0, 0 over here, or that you have to join up the 2 points that are furthest away from each other, or that you have to join up as many points as possible. All of those strategies are wrong. All you're simply aiming to do is to get the same number of points above and below your line. So it is going to be a bit rough, but it's somewhere around there, and you need to extend your line beyond the last 2 points. Okay, so keep going beyond the last 2 points. So that's 1 mark, and then it says use your line of best fit to estimate the number of goals scored by a team that won 20 games in the season. So if they won 20 games, I can now be a bit firmer on the line. I actually need to show this line. So I'll go up from 20 games won, and I'm going to use my line of best fit that I've just drawn. When I hit it, I go across and I'll read that off, which is 2 of these 2 goals were represented by 1 square, so that's 66. So this is the purpose of drawing the line of best fit, so that we can use it then to make an estimate.